Welcome to the My Sister's Place Spring event. I'm Karen Cheeks Lomax, and as always, I am delighted to see all of you this evening, and thank you for joining us. I must start out with a heartfelt thank you. On behalf of all of us at My Sister's Place, we are so grateful and touched by the countless acts of kindness we received this past year. Generous gifts to ease the challenges of this pandemic, from all corners of Westchester and beyond. With your help, we found ways to stay connected and to continue to move our mission forward. We virtually held hands and held each other up. What a visual. What a year it has been. So many challenges, and yet so many hopeful stories have emerged. Stories of creativity, stories of strength, stories of love, some of which you will hear tonight. At the very core, at the heart of this past year, has been an exceptional group of individuals, the staff of My Sister's Place, those at the front lines, confronting obstacles with compassion and expertise, exploring complicated safety planning needs with new approaches, staff behind the scenes working diligently to develop and maintain resources to keep both our physical and virtual doors open. I know specifically what each and every one of you has done, and I love you all. You are each a meaningful part of keeping our organization strong, and at this moment I just want to acknowledge all of our folks here at My Sister's Place, so thank you very much. Throughout this past year, we have come together to grieve lives lost through COVID, to mourn the death of George Floyd and so many others, and to acknowledge the reality of survivors and their families in harm's way. Through it all, we learned through our pain and grew stronger and more committed. Our guiding principles, they glowed and they kept us focused. They assisted us in designing and strategizing new programs and tools to better break down barriers and dynamically serve our clients. Our guiding principles frame our culture, reaffirm pathways to equality and justice, and inspire leadership. They help us integrate our belief systems into our daily practice. Tonight, we gather to celebrate this work and to pay tribute to our courageous survivors, community partners, and leaders that have inspired and sustained us. A big thank you to my board of directors. You know how I feel about you. Our co-chairs, Suzanne Seiden and Tom Rice, you've gone above and beyond. To our event co-chairs, Rebecca and Marty Eisenberg, Susan Mara McDonald and John McDonald, and Josue Sanchez, our deep appreciation for your leadership in making tonight happen. And to our thanks to our entire benefit committee, for all efforts to raise awareness and funds to keep My Sister's Place moving forward. Thank you so very much, everyone. To our corporate community and individual sponsors and donors, again, we can't thank you enough for your continued faith and partnership. Nothing we do would be possible without any of you and any of this. And to our survivors, we remain inspired by your acts of bravery and primarily your trust in us, that you believe in us. You teach us each and every day. So how do we best accomplish change? We open our hearts to our humanity and support our shared desire to embrace hope. I hope you have a wonderful evening tonight. We've got a great lineup for you, and thank you again for all that you do for us. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Karen. As always, your words inspire us. Hi, everyone. I'm Brinda Jailingam, the Senior Director of Community Collaborations at My Sister's Place. Thank you so much for welcoming us into your homes this evening. We're very excited to share tonight's event with you. Tonight's event is interpreted by Lynn Martirano and Jody Prysock. And even though we're not together in person, feel free to check out our live chat going on next to your video. Drop us a message of love, a shout out, whatever you'd like. Coming up, you will hear inspirational stories of survivors that are on the path to safety and stability. You'll hear reflections from our incredible staff who have been working tirelessly throughout this pandemic to ensure that the families that we serve could always reach us. And we'll hear from our wonderful supporters who have stood by our side. And at the very end, please stay tuned because there will be a special musical performance that you don't want to miss. So here's why we're celebrating the stories of My Sister's Place. From our earliest days as a grassroots collaboration of women, many of whom themselves were survivors, we knew the power of stories. Our founding mothers knew that by sharing stories, we were increasing awareness and understanding about gender-based violence. And each time a survivor shared their story, it was a step towards empowerment. Today, we carry these stories with us. And now, first, we're going to hear from Lamar and Winnie, who are at the helm of our shelter, leading an amazing team to share some of their reflections. And then from Swahilis, who knows what it means to answer the call when the hotline rings.
Hello, my name is Lamar Powell. I'm the Director of Residential Services here at My Sister's Place.
Hi, my name is Winifred Wilson, and I'm the Associate Director of Residential Services here at Shelter. One story that really stood with me is the one that during the pandemic, where everywhere was shut down, and she called our hotline. She came into Shelter and she was really badly bruised and really a lot of wounds and physical wounds. Yes.
She had a broken bone or something in her back, stitches in her ear,
right, and in her head,
and no shoes,
right.
No shoes, and came to us in a blanket.
And we were able to get her into Shelter that very day. And just try to assist her with the needs that she had in terms of getting her medical help, getting her clothing, getting her everything, and have her settled in. And that was just one of those amazing things, like just thinking back at the work that we do at My Sister's Place to reach out to clients, to reach out to people who are really a community that's are hurting.
We were her last resort.
Yeah.
Everything was shutting down except Shelter.
Right.
Your Shelter never shut down. And I think that needs to really resonate with anyone who has a thought or passion for, DV, because it does not stop. We also had a client that came from a good situation when you look at materialistic things. She told us the closet was full of clothes and
Right.
kids' toys. It was a room full of brand new toys. And, it's this myth that everybody that utilizes the shelter or services are down and out and no money and they come from the worst situation. And that's definitely not the case. She left everything. I mean, we had to help this individual get ID. Some of these women leave. They leave everything. That's huge because this person had everything.
Right.
So that was.
She realized, that the material things, they weren't that important. Protecting her children and not having them to, witness and grow up in a domestic violence situation was more important to her. She was able to build herself out, build herself with her children. And, she also calls back and, give us updates all the time. She emails us, give us update about her children.
To see her leave as opposed to the way she came in, it was amazing. The smile on her face, it looked like two different people.
When I started My Sister's Place, almost 19 years ago, believe it or not, I look back and I really see how far we've come. When I started, we only accepted women and children in our shelter. Services now are provided to have inclusiveness in shelter. Now we serve male survivors, victims and survivors of domestic violence. We serve victims and survivors of human trafficking, and also, the LGBTQ community, because we understand that anyone can experience domestic violence.
We realize the shelter is the centerpiece for My Sister's Place, because the shelter is what started the agency. This is a for real 24/7 helpline. These individuals, they're putting their lives in your hand. With that being said, we also try to put in a lot of different pieces that can uplift these individuals so that they are stronger and confident and they feel safe within self, so that when they leave, they're walking with confidence and safety.
My name is Wahilis Carrero, and I am one of the domestic violence advocates here at My Sister's Place. I am also one of the staff members that assist with Hotline. In my experience, Hotline is probably one of the most challenging, but also rewarding roles or things that one can do in My Sister's Place. We are their first contact person. We are the first voice that they hear. We're the first person to kind of meet them where they're at, whether they're in a moment of crisis, whether they're in a moment of desperation, or just that space of uncertainty where the person that meets with them or speaks with them for the first time. I think the most important thing that I do personally is just making sure that I read the tone of the caller's voice and I meet the caller where they are, right? And I validate what they're saying. I listen actively, and just making sure that I reiterate that I'm here, that I am here to support the client, and that I'm here to connect them in any way that I can and assist them in whatever ways that we can. And in my experience, I feel like one of the most challenging things is those calls that may need something, and we, as far as shelter purposes, if we're full and we can't accommodate their family size, or they may not fit the criteria for our services, or we may just have to connect them somewhere else, that uncertainty that kind of lingers on with what happened to the caller. Did they get the services? Were they able to continue and follow up with what they needed after we disconnected from the call? So I think that's a little hard for me. But it is very, very, very rewarding when you get a call and you're able to assist the caller fully from the beginning all the way to the end, whether it may be safely accepting them into our shelter, whether it may be safely connecting them with the legal services that they need, or the counseling services that they need, or human trafficking services that they may need. That always feels good, because you know that that's what we're here for. That's what we take pride in, and we want to make sure that all of our callers, all of our clients get the best services possible.
Today, our extraordinary staff are carrying forward what our founding mothers built. Starting with shelter and hotline services 45 years ago, we now have a strong team, including family law and immigration attorneys, paralegals, human trafficking case managers, domestic violence advocates that work with child protective services, and community educators, just to name a few. Our staff are carrying forward the legacy of our founding mothers, and they're all the time keeping the truth of our clients at the center of all they do. We've been able to grow in this way in large part due to the supporters out in the community. And I want to take a moment to introduce a few of our supporters and partners in the community. They've sent us some messages of support, and they represent the countless individuals and organizations and corporations who are generously supporting us through it all. We've also heard from folks that come to us with unique stories of their own as well. So let's take a listen.
I'm Evan Cohen, and it's been my pleasure to be on the board of directors of My Sister's Place for the past 10 years. It's a family affair. My wife Tammy has been a sister-in-law, and several of our daughters have volunteered. The work that My Sister's Place is doing is so critical, and I want to thank everyone at My Sister's Place for all the important work that you do during these difficult times. Thank you.
In 1935, my grandfather murdered my grandmother. She was 29 years old, and she left behind 2 young children, my dad, who was 5, and his sister, my aunt, who was 6. I learned about this as a young girl, and for most of my life, it was a well-guarded, shameful family secret. About a decade ago, when I started telling my grandmother's story, I was shocked at the backlash I received from my family for airing our dirty laundry. But I was even more shocked at the victim blaming that still exists in my family 85 years after my grandmother's death. Although I wasn't there, I'm pretty sure that the day my grandmother died was not the first time that she was abused. And I'm also pretty sure that she had no one to turn to. If My Sister's Place had existed back in 1935, maybe things would have turned out differently for my grandmother. And this is why I support My Sister's Place, because they help those that have no one else to turn to. I do this in honor and in memory of my grandmother, Maria Anastasiou Derecas.
Hi, this is Captain Jim Spencer of the City of White Plains Police Department. My Sister's Place has been a partner of ours for as long as I can remember. They are a great community resource. They've trained every police officer in the City of White Plains on how to handle investigations that involve victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. And we've collaborated together on several different strategic initiatives, such as the lethality assessment, which is now being replicated all across Westchester County. Karen Cheeks-Lomax, Amy, Kim McNair, Lauren Schaller are all another set of eyes for us in the City of White Plains, and we appreciate that. So with that being said, on behalf of the White Plains Department of Public Safety, Commissioner David Chong, Deputy Commissioner Jim Bradley, and City of White Plains Police Department Chief of Police Joe Costelli, I'd like to say thank you. We've been together for many years, and we hope to be together for many more years to come. Stay well.
Hi everyone, my name is Sandy Fernandez. I'm the Vice President of Social Impact at the MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth. And I'm really proud to be here on behalf of all of us at MasterCard to thank My Sister's Place for all that they do. It's also very personal for me. As a survivor of domestic violence, I know firsthand the impact it's had on my family. So I thank you again from the bottom of my heart for your work and commitment. Our growing partnership reflects our commitment to ending domestic violence and human trafficking in our communities. MasterCard is excited to continue to create opportunities to work side by side with My Sister's Place so we can support survivors as they move towards safety and independence. We stand strong with you and join you to ensure that all people have the right to engage in relationships that embrace respect and equality. Thank you.
Thank you. We could spend hours paying tribute to all who have stood by our side, but we are so grateful to hear from some of our supporters and partners in the community tonight. So thank you. And thank you to all of our friends who are tuning in tonight watching this. A special shout out to a group from Julia B. Fee, who is gathering together to watch this program. Thank you all. Again, we are so grateful for your support. We could not do this work without you. While it's no surprise that this past year has been a challenging one, here at MSP, we have never stopped innovating. We've continued to create partnerships, new initiatives, and reach new heights that we couldn't have imagined 45 years ago. We are now able to offer virtual and in-person services to clients and the community. Our staff have seamlessly adapted to all of these new tools. For example, our legal team helps clients navigate virtual courts. Our family services counselors, they offer services on telehealth platforms. And our community educators are offering virtual workshops in schools across Westchester County. We plan on keeping these tools in place so that we can continue to serve the community in a meaningful way. Another exciting new initiative that came up this past year is our RISE collaboration. This unique collaboration has enrolled 23 families in transitional and permanent housing units. This team has worked with survivors to ensure that they reach their goals and can get stability safe in their homes. Our Linking Communities collaboration has allowed us to rethink what accessibility means across the agency. And so we are happy to report that we're on the road and we're on the path to making our agency accessible to the deaf and hard of hearing community. Let's take a moment to hear from some of the amazing young people who have been working with My Sister's Place. Earlier this year, a group of students of our Student Athlete Advisory Board took part and also planned the first ever Student Athlete Leadership Summit. This founding group gathered together because they realized the importance of raising their voices to transform the culture, to prevent violence, and to promote healthy relationships. We are so excited to see where this group takes us down the road. And this program is in part due to the generous support of our friends at the New York Giants. So let's take a moment to hear some messages from them.
I'm Riley Dixon from the New York Giants, and on behalf of our entire organization, would like to thank you, My Sister's Place, for all that you do. Our partnership has spanned more than 2 decades, and we are honored to work with you and support your many amazing initiatives. Together, we have joined forces to address the issues of safety and respect in relationships, and have participated over this past year in many conversations with student athletes on developing leadership skills on and off the field. The newly established Student Athletic Association Board is an amazing group of dedicated youth who will ensure that we continue to talk and make changes. We are grateful for our longstanding relationship and look forward to growing and strengthening the team. Go MSP, go Giants.
Hi, my name is Lexi. My pronouns are she, her. I play field hockey and lacrosse, and I go to Irvington High School. And the Giant Steps Student Athlete Advisory Board is made up of about 5 students, and then Catherine, of course, who's our advisor. And we've been meeting monthly over the past year or so to discuss how to promote healthy relationships, connections, and build leaderships both within our sports and outside in our everyday life and in our communities. It just allowed us to spread our message and to build community around sports and how to have healthy relationships in sports.
Hey, my name is Brianna. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I play basketball, and I recently committed to the first degree granting HBCU, Lincoln University of Pennsylvania. I'll just start off by saying that this program is like fantastic. It has given me multiple opportunities, and something that stuck out to me would be our first summit that we had, to see other people, to meet new people and listen to their experiences, for them to giving us the drive to continue doing what we're supposed to do. We formed this bond that is just like unbreakable.
I think my biggest takeaway in general from the board is that we've learned about so many different ways to be a leader. Oftentimes, I think people think of a leader as the person that's the loudest person in the room or the most commanding. And whilst that sometimes is true, there's so many ways to be a leader: by being empathetic, by listening to those around you, and helping to better and inspire those around you. And I think those are things that I'll take into my everyday life and keep in mind.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Lexi. What I'm excited for, it would be like knowing that I'm going off to college and I'm still able to like be a part of the program. So that's like super exciting for me. And my experiences have been wonderful. I joined the program late and I was so happy that I was able to like be included and I was welcomed with open arm, and that was like pretty good for me.
It's been a really incredible experience, and My Sister's Place is such a great organization that helps out so many people. And if there is a way to get involved, I think it's a great way to just spread community and spread positive messages. And it's been such a great experience that I would recommend to anyone.
Yeah, and also don't be afraid to let your voice heard. Like if you join the program, don't be afraid to speak up. Like there's multiple opportunity. Like we're all understanding, we listen. And if you don't feel comfortable, there's always places you can reach out and talk to people if you're in an uncomfortable situation. It might be hard at first, but once as you talk to that one person, it's just gonna be easier for you to open up. So if you're going through something, just open up and it will get better.
Thank you, Riley and the New York Giants. And Lexi and Brianna, you two are true leaders, and we couldn't be more proud. We are so fortunate to experience the hearts and minds of young people every day through our domestic violence education and prevention program. We know that this year has been an especially tough one for kids, for teens. And despite these challenges, our community educators went out still, talked to teens virtually on virtual workshops about important topics like healthy relationships, communication, staying safe. We kept these conversations going because we knew that in these difficult times, our young people are really what we know needs the support. And safety, that really is central to what My Sister's Place mission is all about. MSP strives to be a place of safety and healing, where survivors can come to explore the ways that domestic violence connects with some of the other traumas that they may have experienced. I am proud now and honored now to introduce to you some courageous survivors who are walking that path and who are at each different points in their journeys. They have graciously agreed to share their stories.
Hi, My Sister's Place.
Hi, My Sister's Place. My name is Laura.
And I'm Kayla.
And we are victims of domestic violence. My Sister's Place was there for us when we needed it the most. They've held our hand every step of the way, and we would not be here today in such a good place without them. It was not an easy road, but we did it with their help, and we are forever grateful.
I think healing is an ongoing process, and we owe a lot of ours to My Sister's Place. I'm a big advocate of domestic violence throughout school, through high school, college, and I just want to thank them and my mom so much for getting us through these times.
So we want to say we love you. We love you. Thank you for everything you've done for us this entire way. It's been one heck of a journey, but we made it through. We love you. Thank you.
Love you guys.
My name is Lisa. I'm a 53-year-old mother of 2 tweens. I am a victim of domestic violence. I'm in the midst of untangling myself from a 15-year relationship that grew to be incredibly twisted. In my abuse, I had lost all my identification and let everything lapse. I was essentially an undocumented person. I had no license, no passport, no nothing. I was very trapped. And in that, I knew this couldn't go on anymore. It was December of 2019, actually, when a coworker had given me the name of My Sister's Place. I had no plan. The pandemic came. I was able to see the effects of my relationship in my children. I had not witnessed any abuse, but I saw in their behavior that the abuse was occurring to them as well. It's a very layered situation to be living in a pandemic. My husband abandoned us and moved to the West Coast. I've had no financial support, so we're living on unemployment. We've had dark days, many days with no money. It's been quite a scramble and a journey. I still had my sister's place in my phone, and I reached out immediately. My children and I have all been receiving individual counseling through my sister's place since June of 2020. But my sister's place was a place for us to find comfort, to find relief and solace. The beauty of my sister's place is it's come as you are for me and come as you need. So if I need to touch base with my counselor 3 times that week, she's available. And if not her, there's somebody 24 hours available. They can help with legal advice. They can help with, finding clothing, with food this year, if it wasn't for the help of my sister's place. And it isn't what you get, the tangible things. It's the underlying support in knowing that we're not alone. They have been essential to helping me provide a positive foundation that will propel my children and I into a life of safety. And with the help of my counselor, I really am believing this, that really everything that we need to succeed, to get beyond this, is within us. There's many things that my sister's place has helped me learn. And in these little daily nuggets, these weekly touch bases that we have, it keeps me going, which moves us into a positive direction, which keeps me in balance, which then keeps us secure. So we're forever grateful for my sister's place.
Thank you, Laura, Kayla, and Lisa, for sharing with us today. Your words, your stories were just so touching and inspiring. The stories you heard are just a glimpse of the journeys that many survivors embark on, each in their own way. And we are so grateful that our clients allowed us to be a part of their journeys. And we're also grateful to all of you for supporting us to do the work with survivors and our clients. I'm proud to introduce to you now one of our event co-chairs and MSP board members, Josue Sanchez. After Josue, please stay tuned for that special performance that we've all been waiting for.
Hello, my name is Josue Sanchez, and I'm a proud board member of My Sister's Place. Tonight, you have heard stories from survivors who refused to be defeated by their circumstance, stories from heroes who stood up and prevailed through storms for the benefit of their children, and stories of how My Sister's Place helped them transform their lives by providing life-saving services with heart and compassion. Now, you also form part of these stories of transformation, because we simply can't do it without you. We trust that you have been inspired and moved by what you've heard tonight, and we ask that you join us in encouraging and uplifting people as we strive to end domestic violence and human trafficking. Please join us tonight in supporting My Sister's Place, in serving and saving lives. We encourage you all to click on the link below and make a donation to My Sister's Place. Every dollar counts. Together, we can end narratives of violence and abuse for a cherished life and birth stories of transformation and inspiration. We need you. Much love and many blessings to you and your family. Thank you.
Thank you, Josue. We so appreciate you and the entire MSP board. I'd like to take a moment now just to thank all of you for tuning in tonight, for being with us as we hear the stories of our clients, our staff, and our partners. It has been a special evening celebrating our stories and celebrating where we'll go in the future. We hope that you will check out our website and look for ways to get involved and show your support. And now I am pleased to introduce to you our final piece of tonight's program. It is a special musical performance by Jayla Cheeks Lomax, our very own Jackie Momorsky, and Diego Ratana. Thank you.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. Yeah, lovely day, lovely day. It's a lovely day, lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. Yeah, lovely day, lovely day. It's a 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 lovely day, lovely day. It's a 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 lovely day.